let's talk about the shadow side of puzzles. It drove him crazy.
Yeah, there is a shadow side.
I see a bullet here tackling a logic puzzle that literally drives people insane and has spawned 100 philosophy papers. Please tell me more about this.
Oh, yes. This is called the Sleeping Beauty problem. And it's a cousin of the Monty Hall problem. Do you know the Monty Hall problem?
I don't know that either.
Really?
Maybe you could explain.
So the Monty Hall problem is a very famous puzzle, very controversial. And it was popularized by Marilyn Vos Savant. I don't know if you've had her on the show, this woman who says she's got the highest IQ ever. So she wrote a column in Parade magazine. No comment on why the smartest woman was writing a Parade magazine column, because she's smarter than me, so she would slam me. But anyway, the problem she popularized was this. Suppose you're on a game show and you're given a choice of 3 doors. Behind one door is a car, and behind the other 2 doors are goats. Assuming you want the car and not the goats. So your goal is to pick the door with the car. So you pick door number 1, and the host, he knows what's behind all 3 doors, and he says, well, I'm going to open door number 3. Before I answer whether you got it right, I'm opening door number 3, and behind that door is a goat. Then he says to you, so you want to switch? You want to pick door number 2 instead?
Oh.
My gut, and most people's gut is like, no, why would it matter? It's like 50-50, right? But it's not.
Ooh.
You should switch.
You should switch. Okay. So this is a better question for my brother, who has a lot of statistics and mathematical training and inclination. Okay, so I would not have passed. I would have failed that test.
Most people do, because it's so counterintuitive. And that's another big theme of puzzles, I think, is that don't trust your gut. I am very wary of my gut. I feel my gut is an idiot, especially when it comes to matters of probability. So yes, you should switch. And when she wrote this, she got hundreds of condescending letters from mathematicians saying, you're an idiot. But she's right. You should switch. Yeah. And you can look it up why. But basically, instead of your initial odds of 1 to 3, you have a 2 out of 3 probability of getting the car, because Monty didn't just pick a random door. He knew what was behind all 3 doors, and he picked a goat. So then it narrows it down. But anyway, this Sleeping Beauty problem, I mean, I'm not going to say it because it's super complicated and it'll put you to sleep. But it is, it's in the book, but it has caused, as you say, 100 philosophy papers. And I love it because this is one of the puzzles that has no correct, people are still debating what the answer is. Is the answer 2 out of 3, or is it 1 out of 2, or something else? So I love a puzzle that cannot be solved. And actually, as part of the book, I commissioned what I believe is the hardest puzzle in the history of the world. And it cannot be solved because you cannot solve it by the time the universe runs out of energy. It's a mechanical puzzle where it's got a metal rod inside a tower. And in the tower, there are all these pegs. And you have to turn the pegs to remove the metal rod. But you have to turn the pegs many times. Many times, 1.2 decillion times, which is 1 with 33 digits. Yeah, so it is literally, if you do one every second, every nanosecond, the universe will end. And I love that.
So what was the impetus for creating this puzzle? And this is Jacob's Ladder, am I right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
A few reasons I loved it. One, it's part of a genre called generation puzzles, where you pass them down from generation to generation because no one person can solve it. So I love this idea of connecting generations and thinking of, you mentioned 80,000 hours, and they talk a lot. That's the effective altruism movement. They talk a lot about the far future and our 14th great grandkids. And so this is a sort of a way to connect with that. One of the great Japanese puzzle makers, he was called the Godfather of Sudoku, and he summarized puzzles and much of life with 3 symbols: the question mark, the forward arrow, the exclamation point. You arrive, you're baffled, forward arrow is the struggle, the wrestling with and then the exclamation point is the revelation. And he said, this is very Zen, he said, you have to embrace the arrow. You have to learn to love the solving, because you're not always going to get to the exclamation point. So this is the ultimate arrow. This arrow goes on until to the end of the universe. So I love that. I love that. And it's also, I love it because it's kind of like a ritual that I can do, a little meditative ritual. So yeah, I am there's only one in the world, Jacob's Ladder.
Where's it located?
I'm looking at it right now. It's to the left of my desk. It's taunting me. I mean, the guy, he's a brilliant puzzle maker. Oscar van de Venter was the one who designed it. So he's going to release the plans on the internet so you can 3D print one yourself. So it will be available.